Fiveish Fangirls, I love you, and I'm one of the Fiveish. In fact, I'm the biggest one of the Fiveish. I am the Sixth Doctor Colin Baker, and I wish you all well. Have fun.
The tangents as we continue all the way to episode 337 of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. Hiding in crypts, children, doesn't make you look evil, just sulky and rather antisocial. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. So glad you joined us. Let's start off like I do every week with the virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
This is Brittany, temporarily still in Maine.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hopefully those that had the extended 3-day weekend have enjoyed themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We did some deep household cleaning over the weekend. That's how I spent my holiday. It was desperately needed and it's still not done, but like we literally, the second bedroom we use as our office and everything, Chauncey literally dragged everything out of it and rearranged and vacuumed and stuff.
It kind of became like a dumping zone for
little
stuff.
Little bit.
Here for now. Yeah. I hear you.
This sounds like
we had a junk room.
Yeah. But
yeah, this sounds like Glenn and the rain gutters.
Yes. A little bit.
Which we probably should congratulate the guys on 500 episodes.
Yes.
Of their traveling the vortex.
Yes, congrats, guys.
Yes, congrats, guys.
That's awesome.
That's very awesome. So, yeah, that's good news. Let's go now. Let's switch to some sad news.
Oh boy.
Pivot.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Ugh. So, this I think this is more sad just because now I'm blanking on the other guy's name that just passed away recently, and we were talking about how Ed Asner had tweeted about how he and Betty White are the last ones left from the Mary Tyler Moore Show, and now Ed Asner's gone, so now Betty White is literally the only person from the Mary Tyler Moore Show left, as far as like that core cast is concerned. Which for some reason that just makes me really sad.
And I think most of us were thinking of Mr. Fredrickson Carl from Up, who he did the voice for. You know, that story is sad enough anyway, and but
so Ed Asner passed away at the age of 91. Among other things, he was president of the Screen Actors Guild, and of course, played Lou Grant for such a long time. So, he's done lots of movies. He was an elf, voice an elf.
If you can find it, it's a Christmas movie with a little bit of a drama to it, but it's called The Gathering. That one, I mean, it has a bit of a sad ending, but we always watched it every Christmas.
The article I was reading, and they were like, yeah, he's played Santa Claus like so many times in different things. So.
Yeah, the Gathering. I think he does dress up as Santa, but he doesn't play the Santa Claus character in the Gathering.
Yeah, which I think of it Asner. I think of Lou Grant. Curmudgeon old man. So I would not think of Ed Asner as Santa Claus in anything, let alone multiple iterations of Santa Claus. I mean, for the a while there when I think it was Jay Leno, when Jay Leno still was hosting the Tonight Show, and they had like a semi-regular segment of "Does this impress Ed Asner?" And they would have like they would bring in Ed Asner, and he would just sit on a chair on the stage, and then have like a random, like fan or somebody come up and show off, like have like a hidden talent or something, like somebody's like a yodeler or I don't know, fire eater or whatever, and they'd be like, "Does this impress Ed Asner?" And they would do their thing, and then he would be like, just that stone-faced Lou Grant look, and then he'd be like, "Yeah, I'm impressed," or no, I'm not impressed. So, for him to be like jovial like Santa Claus is hard to imagine.
Yeah. Well, and he was the voice. I mean, he's done several voices of, a lot of voices in animated series. One memorable one is he's Hudson in Gargoyles, which that character is the perfect blend of curmudgeonly, grumpy old man, but also kindly grandfatherly type. So it's like. And also, he's kind of a badass. So
it makes me wonder if they did
total
model.
Package.
Yeah, and it also makes me wonder if they didn't model Waldorf and Statler from the Muppets a little bit after Ed Asner.
Oh, I'm sure. There's some there's some similarities there.
Yeah.
It would make sense.
Yeah,
but
wouldn't surprise us in the least.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's sad. Somebody put Betty White in a protective bubble.
Yes, please.
Seriously.
Although honestly, I
her
think
and Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah. Although honestly, I forget what I was. I think it was the gold standard or the Patreon we just did for Black Swan. I was talking about Winona Ryder, how she doesn't really age, and I'm like, yeah, people like her and Marissa Tomei and like Paul Rudd, they're all actually part of a Hollywood like satanic cabal, and Betty White is like the lead, the head of this cult, and they just are gonna live forever.
The
Hollywood version of the Mega Coven.
Yeah, they don't age. None of these people age, and Betty White just lives forever. So,
and she's like, whatever the parallel of Mother Superior is.
Yes, exactly.
Don't come after me, my Catholic listeners. I know that that's probably a bad parallel to make. I'm not well versed in satanic anything, which is probably a good thing.
It's a joke. We just don't want to see Betty White ever leave. That's all.
Exactly.
She's the fabric holding this reality together.
Well, given I mean, I'm sure she's doing a marvelous job, but given how this reality is going, she can let go anytime.
And Keith Richards.
Yes.
And speaking of segue,
she's holding it
together. Charlie Watts. Yeah.
We don't want her to let go. She's what's keeping us from completely self-destructing. We lost David Bowie.
Yep.
And things just started to go downhill from there. So,
she or Keith Richards, let's go. There's going to be problems to pay.
Yes.
Honestly, David Bowie and all them, I'm kind of thinking they just tapped out before it got.
Yeah,
nuts.
they saw what was coming, and they're like, "Yeah, now."
Yeah.
They're like,
exactly.
Peace.
Yep.
They just didn't warn us.
Yeah.
Take us with you.
Anyway. Well, speaking of reality falling apart, there's a segue for you. Marvel, in all their brilliance, as soon as we're done recording, and then proceed to take a week off, so some of us could take vacations. What did they do? They finally dropped our first look at Spider-Man: No Way Home. We're all in the chat like, really? Really?
Apparently
just finished recording. Like we started a little earlier than we normally do. So we were already done. And we were just, doing our thing for the night, and then there it is. And
I even said it's gonna drop. They said Monday.
Yeah. Yeah,
really.
That was a little bit my fault, although not, because I had to go cover something at work because my coworker who normally would do it, she was sick, so and we've had to cancel.
Did we lose Chrissy?
Well, it shows she's still here. We just don't have sound. Anyway, she had to cover for somebody who was sick of work. She wouldn't normally work on when we're recording. So that was her story. I don't know what else she was going to try and say though. Something about canceling something.
Oh, we got you back now.
Hello.
Hello. Bueller. See, fabric of reality, hanging together by a thread.
Frobisher quit chasing
hello.
Sure. We can hear her, but she can't hear us.
Can't hear us.
I can hear you.
Okay. Well,
we can hear you.
Okay. I don't know what happened.
I'm telling you, the fabric of reality. See,
I know.
This Spider-Man movie is not just a film; it is a prediction.
You know what? Maybe you know what? I'll take it. You know what? When this movie comes out and totally rips apart the universe, I'll be like, good. I'm like, this
is really what we're looking at, kids. So
anyway, I didn't even hit the mute button, but whatever. Anyway, so Spider-Man trailer.
Yay!
It's oh my gosh, fan service beyond your wildest dreams.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
So we're just gonna call it what it is, and that is not an insult, or not meant to be anyway.
No, this is, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Just, ever since they just started, dropping the idea of the multiverse, I'm just like, yes, please, because that just opens up the door for just so many things that I am so here for. Yeah. So
well, and the more I think about it, because we had the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, and we had the reboot, and then now we have what we have now, and it's like, and we're all kind of sitting there, why do you keep rebooting it? Well, this is kind of a nice way to fold all those reboots and stuff and saying, oh yeah, that was totally planned all along. This will make it better for you.
Yep. Because it's like, I mean, we've got Peter, we got Spider-Man and Doctor Strange teaming up, which already, I'm like, as much as I love the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, Doctor Strange, he's all I've got left. Tony Stark and Phil Coulson are both dead. I've got Doctor Strange to hold on to. So at this point, I'm like, yes, give me more Doctor Strange.
And I'd be okay with Doctor Strange being kind of the de facto leader, head, whatever of the Avengers, because they don't really have anybody else to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just the whole, Strange doing exactly what Wong told him not to do. Which, we'll talk about Shang-Chi next week. But hopefully this is, I don't think this is a spoiler, but let's just say between now and probably the end of the year, right now, if you watch last week's What If, and right now at this point, Wong is holding together the MCU.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wong is the unseen and unearned hero of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
He's kind of like that best janitor that you have at your work that you become friends with, because you know that he's gonna come and fix things the minute you need it, and he's not gonna dilly dally or anything. But he's not. he's the janitor, so he's the behind the scenes guy keeping everybody. But boy, he needs to stick around, and you love him, and you get him a big plate of cookies every Christmas.
Yes,
because he's just that great.
Yeah, I will. At this point, Wong is all like, will you go get me a sandwich? I really want that tuna melt. Absolutely. Would you like chips or fries with that, Wong?
Yes.
How about some tea? Would you like some boba to go with that tuna melt?
Yeah.
So. But we will talk about Wong more next week.
Yeah,
among other things. But yeah, Spider-Man.
Anyway, basically everybody's in it. Although no hint of Charlie Cox yet. And I only bring that up because my brother-in-law loves Daredevil and he really wants Charlie Cox to be back in the MCU.
A lot of there are some people that think when we see Peter, at it's seemingly at the police station, and you just see like a pair of arms just drop like a pile. He's looking through like folders and stuff, and a pair, this pair of arms just drop stuff. A lot of people think that that's who that is.
All right,
but we'll see.
Well, see, this was only the teaser, so
it was. They're not going to give us everything. I mean, we've got Peter and MJ and Doctor Strange and J. Jonah Jameson, J.K. Simmons doing what J.K. Simmons does best, and just a hint of the Green Goblin. All we get is a little bomb thing, no pumpkin bomb, but a little green and some laughing, but no sign of William Dafoe quite yet. But we do get a full-on Alfred Molina back as Doc Ock. So
yes. And
no sign of Jamie Foxx yet either. So they're not going to give us everything all at once. We got a lot. There's still some time between now and December. So
it's true.
Yeah.
But we'll get there.
Yes, we will.
Yep. It was just kind of funny, like, the week before or a couple weeks before Shang-Chi was supposed to be out, and, Eternals is sort of wherever, and then all of a sudden, hey, have a Spider-Man trailer.
Yeah.
So, but that was a thing.
Yep. So, yay. So that's fun. And then reminder, the Kickstarter for the upcoming podcast marathon is still going. We're just shy of halfway to the goal. And there's still 11 days as we're recording this. The Kickstarter ends September 17th. And this is gearing up to be a bigger deal than what it originally was going to be, but we will not talk about that right now.
Spoilers, sweetie.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, but it will definitely be talked about definitely during the event. So there's that. So go check that out. And then doing the related podcast roundup. Speaking of Shang-Chi, if you don't want to wait for our review, if you want to hear my opinion, when it's super fresh and I've only seen it once, you can go listen to the most recent episode of Happiness and Darkness, where with full spoilers, review of Shang-Chi available out in the podcast feeds. And then there's also a new episode of Gold Standard out in the feeds with special guest Sean from Traveling the Vortex.
Hi, Sean.
Yes. Talking about the epic that is Ben-Hur. You already know my opinion of the Lawrence of Arabia. This is in the same vein as that. So, and Lawrence of Arabia is actually coming up fairly soon. So I get a nice little respite for like 2 episodes, and then Lawrence of Arabia. So.
Are you gonna watch it again?
Hell no, I don't need
to. just pop out our episode for a refresher.
Yeah, you're just like Nick, Zan. I already talked about this. We're just gonna, cut out bits from the Fiveish Fangirls podcast on this one, and I'm gonna tap out for this one.
Yeah. Pretty much. So
sand, it gets everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, like I will just brush up on the highlights, which not a whole lot of that, so it won't take very long. So, but in the meantime, you can go listen to me talk about how much I hate Ben-Hur. And then it's new month, so book club updates.
Yeah, so I forgot I need to start doing this to post reminders about voting. So basically, I thought I voted and I forgot to. So basically, it was pretty much put the books in or choices in hat and pulled, and our book for the month, surprise, surprise, happens to be our topic for tonight: the Holy Terror.
Oh.
Serendipity.
Well, okay. If you don't want to be spoiled and participate in the book club, maybe skip this podcast until you've listened to that one.
Yeah.
Or
then come back.
And then come back. Or if you have listened to it, and you can listen to it again because hello, Frobisher is awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. And our book choices for October are Wheel of Ice, Shakespeare's Notebook, The Land of the Dead, and Flip Flop. So 2 books and 2 audios.
Sweet.
Cool.
Yes.
Go cast your votes on the Goodreads book club, and we'll see you in the chat, the whatever they're calling them, message boards, comments. I don't know.
Comments.
After
boards.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, I'll be more than happy to participate in the conversation for this one, or I could just copy and paste the link to this podcast episode.
Pretty much.
You want my thoughts on this audio? Here you go.
Or you can consider this a preview if this is something you decide if something you're going to want to listen to, which I'm, just for Frobisher, you're going to want to.
Yes.
At least.
Yep. So that's it for seeing news. So moving on to some feedback from Shalane, talking about our names that we pulled out of the hat. So she says, because Harrison Ford was our first one, and she said she's finally watched The Last Crusade. I understand why people love it so much.
I'm gonna kind of embarrass her for a minute, because when I've gone down to visit my folks, and usually it's over a holiday or something, and there's always movies on the different channels, and my dad's like, oh, let's watch a good movie, and I know for a fact that we've had Last Crusade on the TV at that, and and Shalane has always been like, doesn't want to watch anything that my dad likes, and he really likes the Indiana Jones movies. I don't know what it is, but I don't. Yeah. So maybe it just took us, telling her, or listening into the podcast, like, oh, maybe there's something to this. It's like, yeah, it's not just a dad thing, Shalane. It's really the best one.
She says the only Harrison Ford movies that she's seen are the Star Wars ones that he appears in, obviously, Indiana Jones and Sabrina, which we touched on Sabrina a little bit. She says Ender's Game. She has read Ender's Shadow. She says she read it for English in 9th grade and didn't like it. So,
which there's a lot of people that would kill to have that kind of English teacher, because holy cow,
that's true. I'm pretty sure I had to read like The Great Gatsby for 9th grade English. So
yeah, what did we read for? Well, actually, we read To Kill a Mockingbird in my 9th grade class, and I love that book. So, but yeah, I'm like,
I read that in my 8th grade class.
But yeah, I'm like, dang, I'd have loved to have read Ender's Shadow and have it be a an assignment that I got graded on, and actually enjoy reading something for school. But
but apparently that's just the way the Ender's stuff is it's your mileage may vary.
Yeah, it very much is. I mean, if you're into that really hard sci-fi sort of thing, and the the moral quandaries and this, that, and the other and whatever, but some people really love the hard sci-fi with the the science is there, or big sweeping commentaries on life, the universe, and everything, and some people don't. So whatever your flavor.
And then she says that she's only ever seen Scott Bakula and Cats Don't Dance, and then CIS New Orleans. So go watch some episodes of Quantum Leap Shalane. Trust me.
Yes, that might be another dad show that she hasn't seen. It's like, no, go see it. It's genuinely good.
Yes. So there you go. So thank you, Shalane. All right, so moving on to this week's main topic, since it is Holly's birthday coming up. Actually, as we're recording this tomorrow.
Yes.
Happy birthday from all of us to you. We wish it was our birthday so we could party too. Hey!
So that means picking a Big Finish audio for us to review, and she chose Big Finish number 14. We're still sticking really early on in the Big Finish's history. So number 14, The Holy Terror, which is a 6th Doctor and Frobisher story. It's actually Frobisher's first audio, but he was already an established character in comics.
Yes. Now, what was there another audio that he was in, or is this the only one?
There's another one later on, and that is the Maltese Penguin.
Right. Okay. Because I knew he wasn't in very many, but I knew he was more in like the comics and things, which I've read a few of them, but not that many.
Yeah.
The Maltese Penguin's kind of like a hard-boiled detective.
Yeah.
Story.
Well, he was mentioned that he was a PI in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Frobisher, he is a Whifferdil. So he's a shapeshifter, but his chosen form that he likes to stay in most often is the shape of a very large penguin who talks with a New England gangster accent or PI like Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah, all those old film noir.
Yes.
That's what Frobisher is. He's a penguin PI.
Yes.
But he's not really a penguin, but he just plays one on TV.
Right. And the thing is, you don't really you sometimes forget that he's a penguin until he says until he says something about my flippers or something.
Or that bit where they build a statue of him, and he's like, "Oh, the beak's all wrong," and they're gonna execute the guy for getting it wrong, and he's like, "Oh no, that's easy to fix." And he fixes his beak.
Yeah. So the the little synopsis for this one is: the TARDIS lands in a forbidding castle in a time of religious upheaval. The old god has been overthrown, and all heretics are to be slaughtered. Obviously, it isn't the sort of thing which would happen there every day, just every few years or so. Soon after, the Doctor and Frobisher are hailed as messengers from heaven. They become vital to opposing factions in their struggle for power. But will they be merely the acolytes of the new order, or will they be made gods themselves? Evil is growing deep within the crypt, as the pair soon find out that they will be lucky to escape with their new immortality with their lives.
I don't think that synopsis is a very good one for this story.
Well, I mean, on the surface,
yes, but it's like, well, the old god didn't get overthrown; he died.
Yeah,
the emperor.
Yeah. I mean, on the surface, it seems like you're kind of stereotypical period. Pick some vague European country.
Yeah.
That has king. kings and emperors, the monarchy as their leaders, and usually the monarchy is also considered the head of the church. But in this case, it's more extreme, like the Queen, Her Majesty the Queen of England is considered the head of the Church of England, but she's not considered like a god.
Yes.
Right.
But in this case, the emperor is not just the head of the church, but actually God.
Yes. And once the emperor dies, if you
proving that they're not a god.
Yeah, if you still believe in him, well, you're a heretic and you must be destroyed.
Yes.
And if you
and the emperor's wife,
the canteen forms.
Yeah. And the emperor's wife has to be murdered too because reasons.
She's clearly not a goddess because the emperor isn't a god, and oh goodness.
Yeah.
Obviously
they do so many things in here. Like 3/4 of this story, it's actually quite amusing, and I found myself laughing several times, especially the mother of the new emperor. Like so many of her lines are just like, because it's very almost meta in a way, where they're, like, when they're like, when they don't come to like behead her right away, and she's upset about it. She hasn't been murdered yet for being a heretic.
I was looking forward to this because they go around and around and say, this happened when your grandfather died, and this will happen when you die, and this is tradition, and this is just what we do, and this is how we religion. And I was like, guys, you all suck at religion.
Yeah.
And scripture
and
and all
her
this
daughter-in-law, her daughter-in-law comes to like strike a deal because she's like, I really want to marry your other son because the son I married is kind of a dum-dum. And she's like, no, you're supposed to hear and like goad and gloat that I'm going to die. It's like, that's what the daughter-in-law does. I was so excited to do that to my mother-in-law when she was in prison.
Yeah.
Like, this is something so ridiculous.
I don't want you to miss out on your chance to curse me out and hurt me. Come on. What you waiting for?
It's like, this is what we do. This is your this is your rite of passage.
Yeah.
Like
to paraphrase a certain Fiddler on the Roof, tradition.
Yeah, I was thinking that in my head a few times.
But it's like this has been going on. Like the new emperor's like number 7, so this supposedly has gone on 6 other times, 5 other times, I guess. But it's gotten to the point where even like they're doing it just for the sake of doing it because it's tradition,
because they don't know any other way. And
but they've also gotten kind of lazy about it because like the new emperor is supposed to perform a miracle once they're crowned to show their divinity. And apparently it's gotten to the point where they're all like his predecessor drew a rabbit out of a hat, and this one he doesn't actually do anything except draw the card. The deck of cards. He's not even the one that like produces the card that someone else drew.
Yeah.
But like a miracle. And then there's always an assassination attempt, but they got tired of it's just for show, so they use blanks.
And it's so weird.
Heaven
because
forbid
I'm like,
we
this
waste ammunition.
Yes.
Right.
For this fake assassination attempt. And then the person doing the assassination attempt still gets killed for doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, it's this the first couple episodes are like this entire farce of
it is. It's absolute farce.
Monarchy and religion, and making fun of religions that have kind of lost their reason or lost their purpose, and they just kind of do it just to do it, and then it turns into something entirely different.
Yes.
I keep forgetting is there, because whenever I listen to this one, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the one that, Frobisher, he gets he becomes a god and worshipped, and all hail the big talking bird, and it's funny.
Yes.
It's hilarious, and of course there's a villain, and all of that. And then you have what's the guy, the other brother,
Childrick.
Childrick.
Yeah. Where he wants to be emperor, and but he's the bastard, and he's like supposedly very ugly. He's got like a hunchback and all these things, and he's supposed to be the evil one, because that's what every wife of the monarch does, gives birth to 2 sons, one who's going to become the next monarch, and the other one's supposed to be downright evil, and apparently he's just bad at being evil. Like, he can't even do that right. It's like, he's got the looks, but he doesn't have the fortitude
yeah.
So you just think, like, it takes this turn where, okay, now he's going to show us his plan to usurp, and take over the throne, like they do. And he even does the evil person monologue, which the doctor points out. He's like, okay, now you're going to tell monologue and give a speech and tell me your plan. He's like, yes, I am.
Oh my gosh.
He's like, I'm not actually going to become emperor. My kid is.
And we're all like, what kid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who slept with you?
Yeah.
But as we find out, like, this has just been going on and on and on and repeating itself. So I'm sure there was some poor hapless woman who was like, oh, this is my role. I give birth to the child from the bastard son, the bastard guy. So, and and all these horrific things happen to her in the course of her bearing the child. And the child ends up being this. Well,
I kept envisioning like some mix of Damien from The Omen and like the really creepy blonde-haired kids from Children of the Corn.
See, I kept imagining the baby from Twilight.
Ooh.
That
maybe a little of that too.
Yeah, the really creepy, weird, all-knowing thing that's like, what the hell are you?
Yeah, because this kid's only supposed to be like 5.
Yeah, but it's talking like an old, not even a regular run-of-the-mill adult, but just somebody who's, I don't know,
not right.
Not right.
Yeah. Not quite mental level, but there's still a couple of
that boy ain't right.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
if you thought, Are You My Mummy?
Doctor
Who was bad. This is on a whole other level.
Yeah. This is
Are you my father?
Getting those vibes? But like,
yes.
this is
Are you my father? And the electronic like distortion they put on the voice just makes it it's just creepy.
When he's talking about we had a child and I've kept him away from mortals and he's got his own language, and you're thinking, okay, so this kid is gonna be throwing his feces at the wall or something, and you're gonna call him holy and amazing for doing so. I wasn't expecting some eldritch abomination to come out of that dungeon. It's like, how would isolation like that really make you that? Well, I don't know, after a year and a half of somewhat isolation, maybe some of us have all gone crazy like that. But seriously, like, what is going on? And I'm like, yeah, this is not the farce, the comedy, the parody that we were led to believe in the beginning here.
Yeah, well, even then, like, once we're introduced to the child, and just we realize how evil it is, and the fact that it's got like these weird like psychic powers and is able to like destroy, read people's minds and destroy them mentally. And like, he takes like one of the women and makes her age in reverse to the point where she just turns into like a puddle of goo or something.
Yeah.
And like the doctor slowly starts to figure out what's going on, because he and Frobisher get separated, like you do. Doctor and companion have to get separated. Frobisher the emperor decides to anoint him as the god part of like the power structure there. So, Frobisher is doing things like introducing things like democracy and voting.
And free will, which is going to be his next lesson.
Are like, who should we vote for? Emperor.
Yes.
And sometimes you're just kind of like, well, yeah, that ain't going to work.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the doctor is, stuck with the like the historian, the scribe. Eugene, yes, who is for supposedly being the historian,
very timid.
Very timid, and doesn't seem to know a whole lot. Is very vague about things. So as the doctor's like, I think I understand what's going on, and I thought like maybe this entire universe was like the construct of like an author or something. And it was like an author who just didn't have very good ideas. And that's why most of the people seem just so generic, and why they're just doing things for the sake of tradition. But then they're like, I need like, a real good villain. And they just like went way overboard. As far as the villain is concerned, and that's why this kid is so evil.
Yeah, and it feels like for a lot of it, I'm still thinking like, okay, is this one, did this one like go back to the land of fiction, like in the Mind Robber? Because I know there's at least one Big Finish audio that does it, and I think there might be a couple more. And I was like, oh, is this one of those? Because I'm sitting here going like, I know I've listened to this one before. I've listened to it several times, and I cannot for the life of me remember the ending. And then the ending happens like, oh, it's that one. So it's like, it's so disturbing that I just block it out.
Yeah.
Let's modulate it down. Slow it down. Lower your voice. Lower your voice. Holy crap. Okay, that's right.
Yeah, which I still thought maybe like Eugene was like this struggling author that just happened to be just like a really shitty author.
Yeah.
And somehow his creation just got the better of him or something, and that's what was going on. And then you get in, so the doctor was like, no, I'm not going to tell you who your father is, even after the kid invades his mind and sees like some of the doctor's other adventures, and is like, what is this other universe and other people? Because as far as the kid is concerned, the castle is the universe. There's nothing that exists beyond this castle and its walls and the people who reside there. And so the doctor is all like, I'm not gonna tell you who your father is. So the kid just pops off, and the doctor's like, oh crap, 2 miles of stairs. Which, if you know the sixth doctor, not the most in shape of the doctors, so even in his prime, that's a lot of stairs. So but in the meantime, this kid goes on this killing spree, which I for a while I was like, why did the doctor let this kid go on this killing spree instead of just telling him who his father was? And all these people possibly could have been spared. And I was like, well, these people never really existed, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But still, the fact that the doctor essentially let this kid go,
right?
There's a lot of bloodshed still.
Yeah, because
whether the people were real or not.
The kids are like, I'm going to kill, and I'm going to kill and kill. Can I kill? No, can I kill them now, please? Like, it's so bloodthirsty.
Killing is so, and he even says killing is so much fun, and it's just like, oh boy.
Yeah, it's
no wonder you were locked away.
Yeah, it's really disturbing. Yeah, it's really disturbing up to that point until you get to the kid has killed everybody. All there's left is the doctor, Frobisher, the kid, and Eugene.
Yep.
And the doctor has figured out that this entire world is a prison that Eugene has constructed for himself as punishment for killing his actual son in real life.
Right. And we don't get the whole story behind why he killed his
his only explanation is I'm mad.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, this little kid, in that weird, creepy voice is like, wait, the kid like gets, obviously it's all audio, you can't see it, but like the kid like gets in front of Eugene, apparently like on his knees or something. And they're like, what are you doing? And he's like, asking for forgiveness. And like, why? Because I must have done something bad for you to kill me, Father. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, and it's like, and there was that bit at the end where the doctor's like, yeah, you're not the main villain in the story, the story that keeps repeating itself over and over. You're just the one who happened, and know that you're the reason for it. And I'm just like, this one is kind of sadistic.
It is. It is. And it's like, it reaches the point where Eugene is like kind of remembering that he's done all this before. And he's like, the only way I can stop it is if I kill the child, which if he did, it would just restart. And
kind
the
of
whole
like the
scenario
doctor's
would
daughter and the looping.
Yeah.
Every 7 days.
Yeah, it would just restart, and people would be like, oh, the emperor is dead, we must crown a new emperor, not realizing that like some cockamamie story of why the emperor died will be construed like Emperor the Sixth died while in the bathtub, he fell asleep and drowned.
Yeah.
Somebody poisoned the king's supper.
Yeah. So if he had killed the child, presumably just it would be like, I guess everything would just stop and then kind of restart from square one again, I guess.
Very messed up reset button.
Yeah, it would just be this big reset button, but instead he lets the child kill him. And then that's it. They just kind of both blink out of existence, and that's it. Everybody is dead, and all there's left is the Doctor and Frobisher and the TARDIS.
Yes. And you're sitting there going like, this has a big talking penguin in it. It was supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So there's the Holy Terror, everybody.
I mean, the first half was funny and hilarious, and then it took the hard left turn to, oh boy.
Yeah. Well, even once like the kid was revealed and it started like killing people, like I said, I was like, okay, well, this is this story that like this author has come up with, and its creation has gotten out of hand, like like some like alien parasite or something came, encountered this author and was all like, oh, I could do. You're terrible, but I could do so much better with your creations, and just took this and took it from this really crappy farce of like a medieval European monarchy story, pseudo War of the Roses, but really crappy version of it, and turned it into like this horror flick.
Yes. Like I mean partway through it, I'm just feeling like in some ways this feels like The Giver, the community from The Giver, because it's just like, oh, this is just what we do, and we have to do it because it's what we do over and over and over and over and over.
Or The Lottery,
again.
if you know the short story, The Lottery.
Yeah, The Lottery, or the one who walks away from Amalus. That's that short story by Ursula Le Guin. So yeah, like there's all those kinds of things. So it's like, okay, it feels like Doctor Who's doing kind of a riff on that and using historical trappings for that. And then it turns out, oh no, this is something even worse. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it just like right turn. I'm like, okay, I can still kind of, this kind of, I can go with this. Yeah, this still kind of fits the headcanon I have of what the ultimate reveal is going to be. But then that left turn there at the end, and I'm like,
yeah,
I still, even now, I'm just like,
Yeah. And I'm still questioning too, like with Eugene being an author, it's just like, okay, who in the heck did he make a deal with that he got angry, got mad, quote unquote, killed his son, and then set this whole thing up? Did he make some Faustian deal and there's something, there's that little piece missing?
Yeah, something, or I mean,
it's a good story, but I just feel like there's just one little itty bitty bit,
yeah, it's like,
missing out of it.
Who did, what did you do? How did you get to this? And, and maybe it's like, going back to the mind robber, because we never really, even in that one, we never really know, how do they get to the land of fiction? Who,
right.
where are all these things, and who is this? And so it's like, kind of like, there are some things that even the Doctor doesn't, or the TARDIS can't get to, or the Doctor doesn't understand. And and I was just reading here on TV tropes, and it mentions that this is one of Stephen Moffat's favorite Sixth Doctor episodes, and you can kind of tell that there's an influence here.
That explains a lot.
Yeah,
right.
It tells you a lot about Stephen Moffat.
Yes,
psychology.
Yes, it does. It does indeed. And I'm sitting there going like, oh yeah, that this makes sense, because
this tracks. This tracks.
It's a prison. It repeats, and there's all this terrible stuff. And it's it's the same people doing the same.
This is the man that gave us the Time War. So
yeah.
And then how does the TARDIS play into all of it too?
Because the TARDIS is the one that brought him here.
Right. Yeah. And then there's also a reference to a blue box. The TARDIS was like, oh. Sexy, what'd you do?
Yeah. She just did what she really has always been doing, because because the TARDIS, again, it starts off funny, the Doctor's like, oh, the TARDIS is acting goofy. Let me, it's like, let me go find Frobisher, and Frobisher is in the pool, seemingly. Hunting down a virtual, like a virtual Dumblejack, which is a nice callback to the two Doctors. I love that. Well, it's supposed to be one of the tastiest fish in all of the universe, according to the Doctor. And
the Doctor gets down and like, why couldn't you go to the kitchen where there's all this nice canned tuna?
Yeah, he's like, it's not nearly as fun as catching it, even though it's not real. Really. It's not real. It's one that he had the TARDIS make for him. But then the TARDIS is all like, yeah, I'm protesting until you put me back in control of the controls. And I'm like, were you ever really not in control though, sexy?
So,
were you just being pouty for a reason?
I think she was.
Yes.
She likes to do that, but it's just funny when she, does things and makes the Doctor frustrated at her. Like, we know who really wears the pants in this relationship.
Yep.
And it's the one who doesn't wear pants.
Or doesn't wear clothes other than a police box.
Yes.
Exactly.
Hey, Idris wore a dress.
She did. She did.
Yes, she did.
Yep. So, but yeah, because this is one of those stories where it just, this could easily be like a, I don't know, like a Stephen King story or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
good analogy. Yes.
yeah. So,
If Stephen King wrote Doctor Who.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Keep
I mean,
Stephen
this was
King away from Doctor Who, please.
Yeah, really.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need a certain clown with a red balloon, and no.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, this was early on. This is number 14 in the main range. This was released November of 2000. So, but who? I don't know who wrote this one.
Rob Shearman.
Okay.
Who also wrote Dalek. Well, no, not Dalek. Well, he wrote Dalek, but he also wrote Jubilee.
Okay.
Jubilee is a good one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where else has he written? So he wrote Dalek, which was a riff on Jubilee. Which he wrote, and I'm trying to look up what else he's done. Okay, Holy Terror. Oh, he wrote Chimes of Midnight.
Okay. That was a good
Penguin.
one.
He wrote Scherzo, which that one's a bit of a mind screw.
Yeah.
And then he wrote one. It's called Deadline for the Unbound Range, which is the Doctor. It's sort of Doctor Who does What If, basically. And that one had Derek Jacobi as the Doctor.
Ooh.
Okay.
My Own Private. Oh, okay, that's one. And then he wrote a short story. There was an anthology called 100, which was the 100th Big Finish main range released, and it was actually 4 short stories, each about a half hour long. And he wrote one of those called My Own Private Wolfgang with Six and Evelyn. So those are the Big Finish ones.
They went to visit Mozart.
Yes, and I'm trying to remember. I know I've listened to it, but it's been a while.
Yeah. And then he's done some of the Bernice Summerfields.
Yes.
He did the new series adventure novel. So yeah, he's written quite a bit, both in audio and in book, comic form. Oh, he plays the sculptor in Holy Terror.
So he is definitely, he is not a stranger to writing weird, freaky, mind screwy type Doctor Who stuff. So
yeah.
So if you see by Robert Shearman on your Doctor Who, whatever it is you're watching, reading, listening to, just you're in for a bit of a
fasten your seatbelts.
Yeah. Maybe have something a little more lighter and fluffier on hand if you need a pick me up afterward.
Yeah.
Not that these are bad. I'm not saying this to be like, oh no, don't ever watch any of his stuff. But it's more like, yeah, there's certain kinds of story, and you gotta be prepared for some of this stuff. And yeah.
Like you might listen to this and then maybe have if you still want the Sixth Doctor, go like Doctor Who and the Pirates.
Yes.
If you really want a palate cleanser.
Yes.
Yeah. That'll do it.
That will indeed.
Oh my.
So,
I may need to listen to that one. I think I still feel kind of emotionally traumatized by this one.
Yeah, and like I said, this one's, it starts out so funny because it's almost like a Monty Python.
Yes.
Bits. It's like, oh, this would totally be, this would be, that very first scene where they're in the prison. They're like, who do you worship? Oh, the great God Emperor Pepin the Sixth. Ah, you're a heretic. Pepin the Sixth is dead. Now he's a you're a heretic, we're gonna kill you, and do you wish to recant? And he's like, oh well, yes, I wish to recant, of course.
Yeah, like, oh, sign this form. Yeah.
Light blue copy is yours, this one's mine, we're good.
Yep.
I know, and I'm like, okay, this is what we're gonna be doing.
Yeah.
And it had been a while since I had listened to this one, so I completely forgot halfway through it does the the switch. I'm like, oh,
I think we've all been traumatized by this one, so we have all just blocked out.
Yeah, and like I said, I've listened to it a couple times, and I have forgotten the ending every time. Apparently, I just remember Frobisher becomes a god.
Yeah, because I'm in the chat and I'm like, oh, I forgot how much I enjoy Frobisher's accents. Like, I can't do that type of accent to save my life, but I find it so amusing. And then, and then I stopped in the chat because I was just so traumatized. I'm like, I can't type anything.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing. Like, I was like, how I know I'm listening to a Doctor Who audio. The whole, oh, hail the big
talking bird.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay. It went that way.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. So there you go. Big Finish will make you laugh, and then it will make you want to drink afterwards.
Well, now that I know this is one of Stephen Moffat's favorites, that just answers so many questions.
Yes.
Questions you didn't even know you needed an answer to.
Yeah. That
Things
just
make so much more sense now.
Yeah, that just explains so much.
So anyway, well, if you can track them down, which there are omnibuses of the Doctor Who magazine comic strips, you can and so you can find more Frobisher that isn't quite so dramatic.
Yeah,
and that is actually about Frobisher, and he takes more of, because this one he's a straight up companion, and so he's not it kind of assumes you know who he is. It doesn't really introduce him or anything. I mean, it gives you enough
because he even mentions oh, Doc, after all the things that we've been through together, and this is Frobisher's first audio, but they just assume that you've been reading the comics that he appears in.
Yeah. So
I was looking it up. I was like, wait, how many he's been in? And wait, this is the first one? Oh, and I was looking up comics and all that stuff.
Yeah. So they are available. I can't remember what exactly they're called. I know our library system has them, but they're these great big, and they're done by Panini Press, who is the ones who put out Doctor Who magazine. So if you look for them, hold on. I've got to search for it because now it's going to bug me. But you can find the comic strips to read. So whether your library has them or you buy them off Amazon or whatever.
Yep. And Frobisher does make an appearance in the 50th anniversary comic book run that they did as well.
Yeah. He appears way more in print than in audio. So,
which is a shame. I would, he should have been equal opportunity bird there.
Yeah.
To paraphrase a certain Russian from Iron Man 2, give me our bird. Give me give me my boy.
I want my boy.
Boyd. And the boy being Frobisher.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, there's just a lot of them. So I mean, so the ones you're gonna, they might be hard to find too. This one, sorry, there's one here. It says it was published January 1st, 1711.
That's a typo.
Massive typo, Amazon. It's an eighth Doctor one. It's called Doctor Who: The Glorious Dead. Oh, sorry. I'm just looking for these things, but yeah. So you can find them. Oh, it's World Shapers. That's the one. Is what it's called. Okay. So, and it's a 6th Doctor one. I don't know that it's officially in print anymore, but you can certainly get them used. Or so yeah, the cover, it has the 6th Doctor Perry and Frobisher. So you can. So yeah, check out your library. Check out Amazon, whatever you can find. But so there's where you can find some Frobisher comics.
Yeah.
And there might be other places that I'm just not aware of.
Well, and sometimes Comixology, if you have a membership, sometimes they have some of those Doctor Who ones where you can download it for free, kind of like the Kindle Unlimited. And I'm not sure. I know they had some Doctor Who titles, so I'm not sure if that one's available through them or not. So you can always check there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but yeah, Frobisher, he's a keeper. Kind of wish there was more of him in audio, but they love him.
Yes.
And he's a perfect character to bring into audio from the comics because you don't need special effects.
No,
they wouldn't be able to do it. I don't think they'd have the budget to do it on TV, but yeah, do it in audio. Why not?
It'd be cool to see him in the TV series, though.
This
yes.
Ooh, I just got a Doctor Who Marvel crossover. Rocket meeting Frobisher.
I love it.
I need that guy's beak.
Yeah. Whoa, wait a minute.
Oh, sorry. That's a rocket thing.
Yeah.
Anyway. So that's the Holy Terror. Anybody else got anything they want to say about it?
I'm too traumatized.
If you did enjoy Frobisher, I do highly recommend that you do check out the Maltese Penguin.
Oh, I'm sure we'll do that one eventually.
Yeah. And that one is less traumatic, if I remember right.
Yes,
it's been some time.
Me too.
Yeah, but no, it's a fun one. Fun sort of detective pulp story. So
yes,
maybe that should be your palate cleanser, especially if you wanted more Frobisher.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway,
Frobisher trying to do his best Humphrey Bogart.
Well, hey, this drawing of Frobisher on this comic book, he's got a detective hat on, so
nice.
I think it's a detective hat. I kind of can't really tell, but anyway. So, well, if any of our listeners have listened to the Holy Terror or have any opinions or thoughts on just Frobisher in general, and we're talking about the Penguin, not the guy that was in Torchwood, not Miracle Day, Children of Earth, and was played by Peter Capaldi.
Yeah, say not Peter Capaldi.
Yes.
Which, talk about
they choose that. Why?
Talk about a traumatic story. Jeez.
Yes.
Right?
Anyway, I didn't mean to bring that up, but I should. Anyway,
No.
If you have any thoughts on this story, send us some feedback. Our email address is fiveshfangirls@gmail.com. You can also find all of our social media links and Patreon links and Amazon links at our website, which is thefiveshfangirls.com. And again, we thank you for your support, for listening, for all your awesomeness, dear listeners. And yeah, thanks for hopping in. Oh, sorry, squirrel. And I've been meaning to do this for months, but I keep forgetting. Back in July, which, Jared published his third book in the Long Black Chronicles.
Yay!
It is called. Why am I blanking out? I just forgot what it was called. Okay, I'm so sorry. Because I can think of what the one he's working on right now is called Black Salvage. I'm like, no, that's not the third one. It's Running Black. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Sorry, dear.
I was just about to. You beat me to it. I was just about to say that.
Thank you, Holly.
Yes.
Sorry. Anyway, he's put it out. It's doing very well. If you haven't read it yet, it's on Amazon, pretty cheap for an ebook, and check it out. He is working on book 4. As if life could calm down a little bit, but yeah, he keeps telling me, did you plug the book on the podcast? I'm like, crap. This has been going on for 2 months. So
according to Amazon, it was May 21st.
Was it May 21st?
That's according to Amazon.
Wait a minute.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh gosh, you're right. It's even worse. Why was I thinking July? Okay, I need to go
because you wanted to make yourself feel better.
Maybe it was May. Anyway, yeah, it's been out this whole summer, and I haven't said a word on the podcast, and I keep meaning to. So now I've said a word on the podcast, not during the news or housekeeper or anything, but at the tail end of it. But there,
it still counts.
It still counts. Oh my gosh. So
we love you, Jared.
Jared
and
is
make
awesome.
sure to check out Jared's other works too. They are very good.
Yes. I really want to put in a plug for Keepers of the Wind because, quite frankly, it's one of my favorite cities written, but it's not as popular as the Long Black stuff, which is fine because that's the one he's been working on the longest. But I really love Keepers of the Wind, and I kind of wish it was doing better because then he would write a sequel. But that's neither here nor there. The audience wants what the audience wants.
Cool.
So,
all right. So, well, with that, we shall end this therapy session.
Right.
And sign off for this week.
This is Brittany in Maine saying goodnight.
Chrissy saying goodnight from Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin saying good evening.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. All hail Frobisher! All hail the big talking bird! All hail Frobisher! All hail the big talking bird!
You have been listening to the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. You can find more episodes and information at thefiveshfangirls.com. Any and all books, movies, games, and any other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by the respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied. If you wish to support the show, the easiest way is to leave us a rating and review. More ratings and reviews will make it easier for others to find the show. If you wish to support us monetarily, you can do so at patreon.com/Fiveish Fangirls podcast. All money goes towards fees and equipment to keep the show going. For official Fiveish Fangirls merchandise, visit redbubble.com/people/Fiveish Fangirls. We love hearing from our listeners and encourage feedback. You can email us at fiveishfangirls@gmail.com. You can also like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Fiveish Fangirls. Thank you so much for listening, and may the squee be with you.